two of the biggest events ever in the winter and in the summer in Denver. And if you need a place to stay, you're welcome to stay with me.
Well, thank you. I don't think that qualifies as a question. And I thought I told you to wait until after the breakfast to ask me that. Thank you. Do we have some other questions?
Hi, Jacob. I've been watching you since Bold and Beautiful, so that's like 14 years. And I just want to ask you, how much fun was it when you were working with Adrian Francis Amber?
Adrian France. I'm not sure if you guys ever watched CBS shows. Adrian France played Amber on Bold and the Beautiful. And how much fun was that? Well, Adrian, she's, you can tell from her acting, and she's a riot. She's just all over the place. And she is. She's an absolute. She's wonderful to work with. She actually was my first leading lady in television, and she taught me a lot about the business, the ins and the outs. I actually smoked my first cigarette with her. When I was a teenager, I was easily influenced. She was pretty. What can I say? Yes. More questions?
You guys didn't know the situation was going to be here.
Is that the situation?
Yeah.
Where?
Documentary about the closing days of AMC. Or not only the closing as far as what's happening right now, because
yes, that's correct. A few of us got together. I mean, I brought it originally to Ricky Paul Golden, and because I know he's into doing a few projects here and there, and I know he's got a couple contacts about some cameras that I could use. Because the show has meant so much to me, I felt, it was only ABC's duty to be able to allow us to, document the final days of all my children. And then once I had spoke to Julie Carruthers, our executive producer, she was on board. But then several days later, Jill Larson approached her and said, she wanted to do something similar. So then Julie got in contact with me and she said, well, you and Jill need to get together. And she said, I don't want 6 projects that are going on about the final days of all my children. So we got together and we talked about what we wanted to try to execute with this. And, so we have been, getting introduced slowly. Josh Duhamel would come on, and some other people that have been making their return. But the only issue now is we're kind of at a stalemate because we're not quite sure exactly what's going to be, happening with all my children, as you all know. Are we moving into, online? Is it going to continue on? So we still have those interviews in the can, and we're still going to go ahead and proceed with it because I felt it would be a really nice piece for not only the fans but for anybody for that matter. Something that may be able to air on the History Channel or any of the PBSs or something where you can know the ins and outs, but have access like actors have access, so you get the full behind the scenes where, in the booth or in the sound mixing area or the editing. And so that was the idea behind it.
It's still focused on the last days with ABC. And,
The transition period. Yeah, Jill and I had just discussed that actually. We were discussing how we would now modify the idea into, a transition of All My Children and what the new era of All My Children. So we're working on that right now.
Question for you and Natalie.
Yes.
If you were the executive producer of AMC, what would you show as the direction for your character coming to the end, and what would you see happen to your character?
So if you had control over what was happening with your storyline, how how and what would you want?
I would end the vlogging thing. Me and Brandon were watching an episode one day, and he started laughing at me because in the scene I go, "But Asher, you made fun of my vlog." And like, it's just such
It's a
a...
vlog.
So I would definitely end that. And I think I would give her more of a maturity, which would be nice because I'm so mature. I think I would just have her find some sort of happiness. I feel like she's always whining about something. And it's a lot going into work every day whining. Well, you whine a lot too, actually.
Must be Chandler trait.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
Zakara's wine too.
It's hard to have so much money.
Yeah. So I definitely would like somehow find her happiness and maybe have her happiness with her family or I don't know, just being happy in some way, shape, or form. Whoever that may be with.
Isn't that nice?
Thank you.
Tate, how would you like your storyline to end?
To have a big scar going this way. Right here, the end here.
You want to be like known as the Scar Kid. You have a scar that goes all the way up the arm and in the face. And how did you get the scar? From the Mega Ramp from the ESPN X Games?
Sort of. As I was riding on a bike, and true story, I can actually do this. Here's a person, okay? He's laying long ways, and then there's a bike laying long ways. And I can jump over him, land on another ramp. And so the first time I actually did it, I actually crashed. The second time I tried it, I actually landed on the bike. And then the third time, I almost hit the person. But I actually, almost, but I actually made it.
So do you think the fourth time you do it, you'll be able to completely execute it? Okay, so we brought a bicycle today. Brandon is going to lay down. Well, that's an interesting take on your storyline.